Oops. Okay, we are now live. Welcome to our last 2023 Facebook Live event. And just a little homework. Want to remind everybody that this is going to be recorded. You will be able to find it on Facebook, and you will also be able to find it on our YouTube channel. So be sure to go over there to subscribe. I'll put the link in the comments in just a moment. We're very excited. Some of us have been waiting a long time for this. We wanted to find out. WikiTree had a challenge, and they asked for some of our challenges. And we had some people submit ancestors that they needed a little help with. And WikiTree is excited to be here. We have, I swear I'm going to mispronounce it, Azure with us, and she's been with WikiTree since April 2018, and she's recently became a team member last month. So we are very excited. She's going to show the results, and then after we'll stick around and she will tell us a little bit about WikiTree and how you can get involved. And if you're like Kay and you have a 2024 goal of being on it more, you'll want to hear this. So I don't think we have anything else. If you have any comments, please just post it in the comments and we will try to get to them. If we go over a little bit, we might have to hold off on the comments and we will answer them later. So we are going to go ahead and we're off on WikiTree.
All right. Well, thank you so much, John Marie. We are really excited to present our the work that was done by all the volunteers that took part in this week-long challenge. So just thought I'd start out first. This is the space page where you can find all the information that was done for your week. But it starts out here at the top with the starting profiles, and you can kind of get an idea of what work was done. And we have a section here which we'll be going over. Tell us what you found. And so you can see here all the different states in the United States that we went to, and then all the different countries that the challenge took us to for the week. So part of the slideshow will also share some interesting finds, but of course there are more on the space page. So definitely take some time and check out the space page because it has a lot of great information has been shared here. There's also a section on all the different military profiles that were added, and you can read more about all the different service that was done by different ancestors. And there is a one place study that is associated with one of the profiles. Also, we'll talk more about that later too. So I just want to go over back up here to the starting ancestor profiles that you provided to us. And I wanted to walk you through a WikiTree profile, and then I'll take you through each of the profiles. So James Henry Hughes here is the first one. Right on across the top, we have a summary of his name and his lifespan. And you can see here, this little circle here is showing 17 degrees. That's how far away he is from me. He's 17 degrees away from me. So that's what that number is up there showing you. And so then we have more information about him, categories that are applicable for his life. And then on the right here, we have all his family relationships. And then this biography is where the profile is got basically the fleshing out all of those facts that were researched and found, those sources that were found. This is where it's all written up into the story of this ancestor's life. So you can see there's also a section on research notes. We use this section to collaborate with other members on things that maybe didn't make sense, or maybe there's a little conflation going on, just to kind of make sure that we're getting all the facts straight for this ancestor. So that's a way to do that. And then there's the sources section down at the bottom. So you can see lots of information available for this first profile. And if there were any DNA connections, they'd be showing up here on the right-hand side in this section. So once a profile is connected to the main tree on WikiTree, then the DNA connections will start appearing if there are any that are within a close relationship to them. And then they have taken a test. So if there are images, there's an image tab. And then we have a tab up here at the top for the tree apps. The tree apps is where you can view this ancestor's family tree. Let me go ahead and go to the fan chart real quick. There's a lot of different views, and this gives you those different views that you can check out, all the different ways you can look at the information, all the data that's available for this person. So a lot to explore. Like we were talking before we got started, there is a lot to WikiTree. There's a lot you can do with it. So definitely check out some of those options for viewing the family tree, or the family tree. There's also maps that you can look at, so that are in relation to this ancestor and his family. So that is James Henry Hughes. The next ancestor that was provided was Jacob Pickens, and this is his profile. So we have a whole huge section here about this ancestor in the research notes section. So we really utilize that to work through any issues or questions that arise in the research. All right. It's 15 degrees for me. It's interesting throughout the week, once they're connected to the main tree, to watch how close, sometimes they grow closer to you. And then sometimes you'll come on here and you'll see at the top that they're actually a relation to you. So that's really fun. William H. Stouffer is the next one. And looks like we have all the siblings and children. And again, some more research notes. So just really actually wonderful way for utilizing the profile, collaborating about the ancestors, is to have those good research notes. And David Armstrong was next. Another good bit of information available there. Not a lot. Let's see. Jesse Jasper Nicholson is next. Looks like almost all of these profiles will have research notes. So that's actually great. I love research notes. And the next one that will go is Stith Thompson. So this is what I was talking about. Now you can see he's a relation of mine, 6th cousin, 5 times removed. So that's really great to see. And you can see here, he's a notable connection. This is another kind of section on profiles that will appear if they're notable. And then you can see here, he has 4,848 connections within 7 degrees of him. So if you click into that, you can see what it breaks down to into the different degrees. So of course he's at degree 0, and then it tells you who those people are at the different degrees out from him. It's some really great information that's available. And of course, a lot of different categories that would apply to Stith because of, he's a notable, he has a lot of different categories like University of Texas at Austin, University of California, Berkeley. So you can explore, if you go into those categories, then you can see all other people that are also in that category. And this is what I was talking about. The DNA connections show up here on the right-hand side. All right, and then the last profile was the one that we had added on for you all. This is another notable profile, Katie Beatrice Green Hall. And so the work was done for her, and we got her connected to the tree and learned a lot more about her. And she's the one that is best known for sponsoring legislation and leading the efforts in the US House in 1983 to make Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a national holiday, which is of course coming up. Not too much, is it 2 months from now? So that's another great profile. Okay, so next I'll take you all into the slideshow that has been prepared so you can see the results. So the closest connection between the ancestors, the 7 ancestors, is between Jacob Pickens and William Stouffer. They are 13 degrees away from each other. So that's kind of interesting information. I always love to see where those connections start showing up. So with this, with the connection finder, all you have to do on an ancestor profile is just click on the profile ID up in the menu bar, and I'll show that in a minute. And you can say the connection to me, and it'll tell you whichever profile there is, as long as they're connected to the global tree, you can check your connection to anybody. And so that's what this is doing here. So 15 degrees times 2, this is the next closest connections, is between Stith Thompson and James Hughes. They're 15 degrees, and Stith Thompson with David Armstrong. Okay, so James Hughes, this is the starting, what we started out with for his profile, 324 connections. And, oh, let's see. Go back. Sorry about that. Looks like, did we start with, let me just double check something, because I think it's missing a page. Okay. I'll double check to see if we started with the 323 or 324, or if we were started with 0. I just want to double check that, because there's not the first slide saying what that was. I'll get back to that. So one of the tree apps that you could use on a profile, ancestor profile, is to take all the profiles within that CC7, and you can see, so all of the profiles that are connected to him within 7 degrees, this is a snapshot of their migration patterns. So the blue dot is birth, and the dyed place is in the blue or red. So this kind of gives you an idea of where all the different locations were that we went to with just this ancestor. Just all over Italy, looks like Ireland, England, Mexico, just all over. We find that so often with all these different challenges that we start in one place and we inevitably end up all over the place. So it's really wonderful opportunity to learn research techniques for different countries when we do one of these challenges. So here's a little bit closer snapshot of the United States, where all the Hughes CC7 profiles go within the US. And one of the interesting finds that we wanted to share from the Hughes line was the tragedy in Tucson. So James Hughes' great-granddaughter, Flora, was married to Jimmy Anderson. And in 1929, when Jimmy's sister Jewel was killed by an accidental gunshot wound, she was only 14 years old. So that's one of the interesting finds that was found during the week. Part of the announcement for the school graduation reads, one member of the graduating class, Jewel Anderson, will be missing. This is the girl who just 10 days ago was accidentally killed in a shooting accident at her home. Her vacant chair will be on the platform and her diploma will be accepted posthumously to her brother. And that's the newspaper article about it there. So Dunbar School is where that's talking about. Jacob Pickens is next up on our list of ancestors that we're going to work through. And so, yeah, 793 connections. And that grew to 1359. So that's the work that was done during the 7 days by the volunteers. I love looking at the before and after. 793 to a little less than double. So that's great. And here's the maps for his CC7. Again, all over the place. Looks like Panama and over into Eastern Europe. So really, really love to see all the different places we go in these challenges. The close-up for the United States, or North America, I should say. And then into Europe. Looks like we got Switzerland, Germany. And the interesting find for this line, the Pickens line, is James Pickens' son Joseph married Nora Abraham. Her brother Enoch had a son, Clyde Rush Abraham, who spent his whole life in military service. He was appointed to West Point Military Academy in 1902 and graduated as a second lieutenant in 1906. During the Great War, Clyde served in the 81st Infantry Division in France. And in 1933, he graduated from the Army College. So by 1935, Clyde was promoted to colonel, and in 1940 to brigadier general. He retired in 1943 and is buried at Arlington National Cemetery. So, and there's a note that he served in Cuba, Hawaii, Panama, and Puerto Rico, as well as all over the continental US. Just really interesting. William Stouffer is the next profile. And this is where we started with him, 6 connections. And we grew him up to 3,856 connections within 7 degrees. So that was a lot of work that was done on this profile. Lots of connections were made. Of course, this makes it, so that it's really nice because people can then come to WikiTree and maybe find their ancestors, because we've now added all these people. So they might find their ancestor here and connect to the tree right away. So really a lot of work, but a lot of fun. And here is the migration map for the profiles connected to Stouffer. Again, looks like Upper Canada we got, and Caribbean, and looks like we have some down in Indonesia. So way all over the place. Poland. And here's the close-up view for the US. I find it really interesting how the different ancestors that we started with have definite groupings of their connections in different parts of the country. And then they followed a certain pattern. So it's just really interesting. Okay, David Armstrong is next up. And again, we started with 6 connections for him. Oh, I went right past it. And we got 1392 connections added for him. And look at that. All over the Americas are pretty much almost covered up with that migration map. And again, this all over into Japan, even just really some great information here. And here's the close-up of this one. Down to Jamaica, looks like. And if you go into the tree apps and go into the WikiTree maps, there is so much information available to really delve into with all of these profiles. Definitely recommend checking that out. You can dial things in, you can zoom into the map and get some detail. So it's definitely a lot of fun to check those out. Because these are static views, just for the slideshow. Definitely recommend them. Okay, then the interesting find on this line, inmate marriage mishap. So this is about Rosa Lavina Tuttle, and you'll see on the side there we have the newspaper article sensation at Ravenna. Prominent woman marries a young man to reform him. So David's daughter Nancy married Orville Tuttle, and he had a sister, Rosa, who was quite something. Rosa married for the first time at the age of 48 or 50. Her birth date is listed differently on almost every source that we found for her. So I'm not quite sure what the age was, but right around there. So according to the newspaper article announcing the marriage, she was quite well off and had never been married before. The man she married was quite a bit younger and is someone that she met while leading prayer meetings in the prison for inmates. He had quite a criminal past in the area. The odd fact is that she died less than 4 months after the marriage. So it's kind of interesting. What happened there, we don't have, but definitely maybe somebody can delve into it even further. With only 1 week, sometimes we find something and we run out of time to delve into it even further. So maybe that will trigger somebody to really take it even further and try to find out more about that. Jesse Nickerson is our next one. We started with 91 connections for this profile, and we grew it to 4,036 connections within 7 degrees. That's the thing, is that this is within 7 degrees of this person. So that's a lot of people. All right, and here is the snapshot of the migration pattern for this person. And here's the US zoomed in for you there. Actually, North America is what I should be saying, because we have Canada and Mexico there. And here's Europe zoomed in for you there. Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Switzerland. Okay, Katie Hall is the next ancestor. And we started with 0 for her. And we grew her to 223 profiles. And here are the migration. Here's the migration map for her. All those 203 profiles. This is where they lived and died. And Stith Thompson is the last one here. And we started with 5 connections for him. And we grew him, he's the biggest one, at 4,741. That is a lot. The chart had to be really zoomed out. So if you go into his profile and look at the CC7 views, you can, or not CC7, but when you look at the, I'll go in and show you what that looks like, but you can change the, you can zoom in and out so you can read the text at the top there, so you can see the detail better. And here's the migration pattern for him. The profiles within 7 degrees. Again, just all over the place. And of course that happens, it happens more and more the more profiles you have connected closer. So here's the US, or zoomed in. And then Europe. And the interesting find that was found, it's a tragedy that happened. This college lad was killed when he was hit by a discus. It was kind of a freak accident that happened during track and field practice. He just got hit by a discus and died of skull fracture. So that was really sad. He just was a freshman, just starting out. So Julian Arend Shorts. All right. So that's the slideshow for some interesting finds that we found, and to give you an idea of what the work that was done. And I just want to go in here to the tree apps and show you the view so you can see what that looks like real quick. So I think it's the sorry about that. I just realized I was in the wrong place. Here we go. It's the 6 degree. It's called 6 degrees, but it actually is within 7. Let me pull up for Stith Thompson here. Just going to grab his profile ID and pop it up over into here. Oops. There we go. So you can put in any ID in there, and you can then it's going to work behind the scenes to load up that. But I was just going to show you, you can change how this looks. There's a lot you can do with this, and even print things off. So that's what I was saying. Definitely, if you're interested in WikiTree and want to learn more, there's a lot to it. One of the things I definitely recommend if you are interested in coming, building out your tree on WikiTree, is to join a project. That's one of the best pieces of advice that we give to new members, is find a project that you have an interest in, maybe a country project or a functional project, or a topical project like Quakers is one. So definitely recommend checking that out. You can go to up at the top here into the find menu, and then you can just go find projects, and you can see all the projects that are available on WikiTree. So just a really great way. You get to meet people that are in the project. They're interested in something you're also interested in, and so you can kind of learn from them and tips and tricks from them. So it's a really good way to get started. So back on the space page, again, just want to point out that there are a lot more interesting finds on here to read about that were submitted by all the different WikiTreeers that took part in the challenge. So recommend checking those out. All right, so that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions or want to see anything specific I can share?
I actually have one. The
Okay.
DNA connections, do you have to upload your DNA results? Or how does that work?
Yeah. So the DNA, it's not the actual raw data that gets uploaded. It's just that you took a test, where you took it, and if there's like your user ID or GEDmatch, it would be the GEDmatch ID for your test that you get when you upload to GEDmatch. So that's all it is. And then after you've entered your DNA information, then within 24 hours, it populates out to your ancestor and other profile descendant ancestors and like cousins, all to any profile that would have, you could do confirmation with a DNA confirmation with, it would be showing on there. So on that profile.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of DNA tools available on WikiTree. Mags did a wonderful presentation both this year and last year about DNA and WikiTree. So that's out on our channel if anybody's interested in that.
Okay. And I will post, so everyone knows, I will post the link to their YouTube channel, and also there on Facebook, Mastodon, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok, where you can always ask questions. There's a question that was just posted. How did you get their profile page to display on the right side? Was that one of the apps?
How did I get I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part of that.
How did you get the profile page to display on the right side? Was that on one of the apps?
Oh, yes. The family relationships to show on the side here. Right. Sorry, I should have changed this back. We have what's called an extension, a browser extension, that was done last October and was improved this October during Hacktoberfest. It was a collaborative effort between different WikiTree members that developed this WikiTree browser extension, is what it's called. So it's available on I think all the browsers out there. I'm on Google Chrome, so it's in the Chrome Web Store for Chrome extensions. And this browser extension, I don't know if you can see, but I have a little pinned icon for the browser extension here, and it has a lot of options to allow me to change how I interact with WikiTree and how things show up for me on WikiTree. So that's kind of what I was talking about before, and different ones of you have mentioned. There is a lot to WikiTree. It's very feature rich, I would say. There's a lot to it. So that's why I was mentioning definitely join a project, work with different members that have been around for a while. They can really walk you through and share what their tips and tricks are for getting it around WikiTree. But
Now,
yes,
where do you find out where are all these projects? Where can you find them?
yeah, so if you go up to the menu, just right here at the top, there's these options. There's a find button up here. And if you go find and then projects, it'll take you to the help page for all our projects. And there are topical projects and for geographical, pretty much we are actually at the beginning of the year going to be having we're working towards having a project for every country out there. So there are already quite a few countries on here. And then we have themed projects. As you can see, military and war, medieval project, Mayflower. We have a project for one name studies and one place studies. So there's quite a few things to pick from. Whatever interests you is a great place to get started. We have functional projects like cemeterists. If you're someone who likes to go out and take pictures of headstones and share those out on Find a Grave or Billion Graves, there's a cemeterist project on WikiTree for doing that. We encourage people to upload their photos, create the profiles for those ancestors on WikiTree. And there's a DNA project. So there, like I was saying, there's lots to pick from.
Do you have any questions, Kay or Gail? I think we lost Rhonda.
Oh, Gail, I think you're on mute.
Oh, yeah, Gail.
Yes, I
There you
was.
go.
I can't wait to get in there and look at more things. I've added a bunch of profiles, including Jacob Pickens, and then I can't wait to go
Wonderful.
look at everything that was added to his. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
great.
I had Jesse Jasper or Nicholson. So
Oh,
I can't
yeah.
wait to dive into that one.
That's great.
Let's see.
I'm just looking forward to jumping in, just like you said, it's feature rich. I could see being lost there for a few weeks, months.
It definitely, yeah. It's an addiction.
I like the DNA. That was the thing that caught my eye when I first started using WikiTree,
Uh-huh.
was being able to find an ancestor, and then other descendants had posted their DNA,
Yeah.
their IDs, or so you could go match, to shed match, or to see.
To see who you,
Yeah.
who might have
To learn
matches.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything
Yeah,
is
there are,
source, I've noticed. At
what's
least
that?
source, and then in the research notes, is it where it tells you the sources?
Yeah. Yeah, the
Okay.
sources are, for the most part, I think they're inline citations. So there's a link at the end of the statement, and then it takes you to takes you to where the source is down at the bottom.
Now, can anybody add a source?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The only profiles, so on the privacy tab, I'll just take you guys in there real quick. These profiles are all open, which means that anyone can view the full profile, and any member who has signed the honor code can edit it. So any profile that has this green lock, which would be closer in time, maybe more recent ancestors, maybe somebody's grandfather or father, could have these other privacy settings. So public would be only the people who are on the trusted list can edit the profile, but everything's still viewable. And then private with public biography and family tree. Just like it says, nobody can edit it, but who's on the profile, on the trusted list. And then the public biography and family tree is available for viewing. So it just dials, you can see it just kind of gets more and more private as you go up to black, which means it's unlisted. And so those would be, you know, somebody who maybe your spouse, you want to create a profile for them, and that's okay with them that you've created that profile. But they also don't want their information viewable. That way you have a profile for them, but it's kept private, and then you can add their ancestors. So then they can go in and see their ancestors. So it really is great how you can really dial down the privacy for all the different ancestor profiles specific to that ancestor or family member for whatever's needed.
And do you have to create an account to get on to look at the stuff on WikiTree?
No, I think if I log out, you can still view things, you just can't interact.
Oh,
And then you can be a guest and interact a little bit, send messages and things, but if you want to do more, you just upgrade to family member. That gives you a little bit more ability to do things. And of course, upgrading is free because everything at WikiTree is free. So, and then the top level membership is Wiki Genealogist, which just means you've signed that honor code, that 9-point honor code that we have. You know, we collaborate is the top one there, care about accuracy. We assume that mistakes are unintentional. We know misunderstandings are inevitable. We try to be courteous to everyone, respecting the privacy, respecting copyrights, giving credit, citing sources, and keeping information as free and open as possible. So you can see all the people signed it. So it's kind of nice there.
Do you have something for somebody who's new for WikiTree on how to use it and where to
Yeah.
find?
Yeah, we actually have monthly, there is a Zoom meeting that goes on with Betsy Coe. She hosts a new member question and answer sessions on the first Thursday and Sunday of every month. So there's one coming up this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, she'll be doing another one. So it's a chance for new members to come on and ask some questions and get some pointers. And that's on a monthly basis. And that's out on our G2G. So I'm just going to bring up her. So this is our forum, or we call it G2G, and that's just short for genealogist to genealogist forum, where we can interact with other members, ask questions, and get help with things. That was one of the first things I did, was ask for help with a transcription of a headstone from Japanese. I had no idea what it said. So, and within, I don't even know, I think it was within 15-20 minutes, I had a response from somebody that knew Japanese, and they were able to translate it for me and get me going on creating a profile for that person. So that really impressed me when I first came to WikiTree. So yeah, this is the monthly new member Zoom Q&A that she does. So that's out on the G2G, and the G2G can be found by going to the help menu at the top upper right hand corner, and it's just under forum. Another great place to find out some information is the help, which is the next item on the list on the help menu. There are some really great articles that were written up by members on how to use WikiTree. And there's even new member tutorials that walk you through all the different steps of how to get started on WikiTree. A great place to start out. And when anybody first joins WikiTree, I'm sure those of you who are members on WikiTree have experienced, we have a project greeters that, these are volunteer members that greet new people who come on to WikiTree. So that's what
There's a lot here.
Yeah, there is a lot. So that's one of the things that they give to new members is the new member tutorials on how to get started on WikiTree. Because there is a lot, and it helps you get started.
I don't see any other questions. Unless any of you ladies have other questions. We're excited to go check out everything you've learned.
Right.
I can talk about WikiTree all day long, so.
We're gonna go check out our ancestors, what you discovered after this, and beyond till like 2 a.m.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Well, this was absolutely fun. We learned
Wonderful.
a lot, and we have a lot more to learn. Especially,
and feel free to reach out to me. My WikiTree ID is Robinson-27225. So you just put that into the search and it'll bring up my profile, and you can send me a private message or ask me any questions. Or actually I have a WikiTree email now, so it's azure@wikitree.com.
Okay, spell Azure.
AZURE.
Okay.
Yeah, like the color blue.
Oh, yeah.
Azure blue. Yeah. It's from the show Kojak. Well, that's where my mom got the name.
And if anyone has questions, this is going to be published on Facebook after we're done here. And then it'll be on our YouTube channel, which will let you guys know as soon as it's available on there. I know I'm going to have to go back and watch it again.
Me too.
But
Yeah.
so we can get down that information. But if anyone has any questions, go ahead and post below, even if we're not live, and we can always get back to you later, or you can email, however. Let's see, Kay, do you have anything to add?
I don't think so. Our next Facebook Live is January 9th. Is that it?
I think so, yeah. Because the January 2nd was too close, so yeah, the 9th.
Mhm.
And Kay is going to be special guest that day. But we hope everyone has a great holiday, and thank you again for all of this, everything you guys have uncovered. We're excited to explore it, and those of you watching on Facebook or watch it after, we hope you guys will explore WikiTree. And like I said, they're all over social media. So be sure to go follow them because they have tons of tips and videos they share constantly. But I hope you guys all have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Bye.